So auditor turnover has become a big topic lately, especially with out-of-state travel and some of the audit work that new auditors have been doing on complicated out-of-state trips. So one thing I wanted to address today are some of the travel conflicts that we have. We're going to cover the problems with current travel arrangements. We're going to look at the effects these arrangements have on auditors. And then we're going to discuss the benefits of potentially changing travel compensation. So first of all, I have a question. I'm going to pull up a few pictures. And I want you to identify what is unique or different about these hotel rooms. What would be appealing about these hotel rooms to an auditor traveling out of state, who's going to be gone a week, maybe 2 weeks from home? So take a look at some of those features. Anything stand out to you? Anything unique about any of these rooms? Well, what I can tell you as an auditor is there is no difference between any of these hotel rooms. Bigger bed, whoopee-doo. You know, a nice view at a big window doesn't make a difference. Because the bottom line is auditors do not want to be away from home traveling. And that's one of the biggest issues with current travel. We have a mandatory 2-week policy. We're required to have a weekend stay. Rumor is this is carryover from ancient days when hotels used to give discounts for weekend stays. They discount the entire stay if travelers would book for longer. So this is required on trips that are east of Colorado, and 2 auditors typically travel for 2 weeks. And on top of that, there's large, complicated audits. These are tough companies to audit. It takes a lot of time, a lot of work, and a lot of prep work. So it's not just the travel time involved with these, it's also the setup time, the contacting companies ahead of time to make sure we can get the work done the right way. So another issue auditors have is per diem compensation. We know how this works. We pay for everything up front, and after the fact, we get reimbursed. Yes, we all try and take advantage of this perk by eating less than we actually get paid for. That way we can take home some pay, but we're limited by this reimbursement rate. It's not income. It doesn't feel like income. I have to spend out of my pocket money ahead of time. I have to disrupt my normal monthly budget to travel out of state, and it's not fun. What do these travel issues create? What problems get created for auditors? Well, first, auditors have low morale. Most of our traveling auditors are younger. They have families at home. We don't have the issue like we used to of calling home, talking for maybe 5 minutes because it was so expensive to call home. Now we can at least FaceTime, we can see our families, but it doesn't make a difference because we're still using a pixelated screen over a slow Wi-Fi connection. We can't help get homework done. Our partners are frustrated at home. On top of that, we are inefficient when we're traveling out of state. First, these are difficult audits. There's inexperienced auditors. We need experienced auditors working these accounts. Oftentimes, we can't afford to have senior auditors traveling on these trips. They need to be doing audit reviews. They need to be helping train with local audits. The other issue is these often become mini vacations and sightseeing tours for auditors, which can lead to employee turnover. I'll tell you a story. Auditor schedules a trip to California with another auditor. He decides, oh, this is perfect. We can stay close to Disneyland, where the hotels are. He actually ends up taking 2 days in the middle of the week to spend with his family at Disneyland instead of being at the audit where he's supposed to be doing work. 5 months later, same auditor, supposed to travel out of state with another auditor back east. They're planning to go to Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. They want to see some of these historical sites in the US. Well, unfortunately, because of this auditor's behavior in California, he was terminated. Another auditor got pulled into the trip to Philadelphia. Long story short, 6 months later, the other auditor who'd planned all these sightseeing stops in Philadelphia, no longer with the tax commission. Didn't get the audit work done, didn't focus on what was important, turned an out-of-state trip into a vacation. Here are some policy changes that will make a difference. First, we need to pay a fair compensation to auditors who travel out of state. This is a sacrifice. They're gone for the weekend. They're not being paid. Their life is disrupted. The take-home pay from per diem isn't a fair compensation. So what we need is a time-based payroll compensation. They need to be paid their wage for the weekend stay, 8 hours per day. It's a difference of $120 compared to $360. That's a huge incentive for veteran, experienced auditors to want to take these trips. The second option is to create an incentive for performance. We need auditors getting the audit work done as efficiently as possible, as quickly as possible. How can they accomplish that? Completing the audits early, working ahead of time, trying to get information up front, doing efficient follow-up with those companies to get it finished and wrapped, and making sure those companies understand we're not going to give them time to provide us additional information after the fact. We need it ahead of time. So how can we incentivize auditors to take those steps? I propose that we award paid time off for any audits that get completed early and when auditors are traveling home before the 2 weeks are up. Another option is to provide comp time benefit for auditors who complete these audits in 90 days. They're the most difficult audits. They take a lot of time, and we need to make sure those audits are getting done. What are your concerns? We already know what they are. You're going to say turnover is not linked to travel. Of course it's not always linked to travel. There's lots of reasons auditors leave. Better marketplace, higher pay, better benefits. The other issue we have is there's budget differences between the way travel's budgeted and the way payroll's budgeted. Those are things we can work around. Those are things we can discuss. The bottom line is we have problems with the current travel policy. And the short-term and long-term costs associated with employee turnover need to be remedied. And the best way to do that is to adjust the policy to incentivize travel to make auditor productivity higher. Because if we want auditors to be happy, we need to get them home sooner.